I was visiting the chamber of sexual sin, where there were many sections. We then moved to a place that resembled a bed of fiery concrete, where demons were tossing people around. It was like a bed of flames where individuals were burning because they were involved in prostitution during their lives. They are placed on this fiery concrete bed because they used to lie on the bed of prostitution. This was their torment. They lay on this bed of fiery concrete. While we were there, I heard a young woman saying, "Lord, my mother and father were pastors. Please take me out of here." We immediately approached the lady, and the Lord asked her, "My daughter, is this truly the portion you chose instead of me?" She replied, "Lord, I wish I had listened to my parents. My father and mother talked to me and warned me about hell. I heard about it from my parents all the time. I wasn't ignorant of it, but I didn't expect this place to be so terrible. I failed to heed my parents when they cautioned me. I was influenced by my friend in college, and we used to go out to engage in prostitution and sleep with men. We slept with our professor at the university to get good grades and pass, and we went to bars and nightclubs to sleep with men for money through prostitution. I dishonored my parents, who were respected in our town. It was a shame. They used to tell me, 'Daughter, with your sinful lifestyle at the university, if you continue to harden your heart and refuse to repent, you are in great danger because there is a place called hell or a place of torment.' But I ignored their warning. I couldn't understand the severity of this place and continued with my life of prostitution. One day, I went out to bars and nightclubs with a man to have fun. It was when we were returning to the university that we had an accident, and I fell here. The Lord looked at this woman and wept. He said, 'My daughter, you had time and opportunity to repent on earth. But why did you waste your life and opportunity? Now look where you have fallen. It is too late in this place.' I saw one global celebrity who lived a life of prostitution and 6 people of various races and nationalities. I saw many ancient popes in this place and was stunned. They were thrown onto this bed of fire and were in torment. I said, 'Lord, the popes are being tormented in this place.' The Lord replied, 'They appear to be pious, but deny his power.' Referring to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5, the Lord said, 'These priests are a bunch of hypocrites. Many of them pretended not to have children, but they do have children, and their girlfriends are nuns from convents. They told themselves and the sisters of the convents that if we sleep with the sisters from the convents, it's not a problem because we are saints and they are also saints. It's between us. The popes I saw here were from a century ago, before I was born. They all slept with sisters from convents and had children because they believed that the sisters were as holy as they were. They pretended to live in holiness but maintained relationships with the sisters, paid them money, and had children, practicing prostitution in this place. I saw pastors being severely tortured. Demons were placing objects that looked like sacred texts on their chests. These weren't genuine scriptures, but were instead made of metal heated to extreme temperatures. They pressed these hot metal objects against the chests of the pastors. The demons addressed these leaders, condemning them for their immorality. 'You are well versed in sacred writings,' they taunted. 'Demonstrate your knowledge.' The flaming concrete bed they referenced was actually a bed of prostitution. Its origin and end were invisible to me, and countless souls were trapped within this blazing concrete structure. Eventually, we soared above it, and I saw a river of molten lava below, with innumerable souls bound and chained. Above the river of fire, I observed televisions, cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices. The Lord spoke, saying, 'These souls were obsessed with explicit content, consuming it through TVs, phones, tablets, and other gadgets. Now, they cry out for justice. Above the river, these devices were condemning them, even though the phones they used might have been broken. In the underworld, they demand justice because these devices were used to commit sins. I saw TVs and phones floating, pleading for justice. The louder these devices cried, the tighter the massive chains bound the condemned souls. I watched these chains ascend toward the surface. The Lord explained, 'These chains are rising to the earth. When those who indulge in explicit content die in their sins, these chains bind them by the neck, pulling them toward the sea of lava.' Brothers and sisters, It pains me deeply to hear people at funerals telling their departed loved ones to rest in peace, knowing that many are not heading to a place of peace and rest. The scriptures tell us that when the wealthy man died, his soul went to a place of torment. I believe that most deceased souls go to this realm of suffering. Yet, people continue to say, "May your soul rest in peace." I witnessed individuals in the place of torment confessing and begging for mercy, but it was too late for them. Millions of souls were imprisoned in the lava, chained because of their obsession with explicit content, trapped in the depths. The chains that held them were larger than the individuals themselves, suffocating them intensely. I saw a massive pit filled with people engulfed in flames, running disoriented, trying to escape the fire, and weeping. These individuals held their private parts, from which snakes emerged, moving across their bodies, entering through their eyes and exiting through their reproductive organs. Above the pit, demons mocked and laughed at the lost souls. Jesus stated, "These are women who engage in relationships with other women. They are lesbians, and these men practice sodomy and homosexuality. Their sexual organs and fingers have been transformed into snakes." Among these people, I saw a national politician involved in homosexual relationships with men who worked in his office and governmental department. These men were forced to agree to sleep with him. I witnessed this politician's genitalia transforming into a snake that bit him. Additionally, I saw another politician executed by the president, who was hanged for opposing the dictatorial regime. This adversary was also homosexual and was executed for political reasons. To my surprise, I saw the former president himself in this place reserved for lesbians and gay individuals. Mobutu behaved like a king in our country, causing chaos. He believed he was a deity. I saw that he was tormented by men present there. These men told him, "You brought us here, and we are lost because of you." I saw these men biting the deceased president in his genital areas, accusing him of being the cause of their torment. I said, "Sir, even our president is in this place meant for homosexuals and lesbians." He replied, "This was the lifestyle he chose on earth. He was involved with both women and men. All the men he was with are here, gathered around him, accusing him and biting his intimate parts." I realized that in hell, there is what they call an entertainment area. If you killed someone or caused a woman to fall into hell, you will be taken to this place to be tortured by the people you brought to hell. Anyone there, because of you, will torment you, as you are the reason they are in hell. So, we left the area for homosexuals and lesbians. As we walked, I saw a huge pit filled with babies. They cried, saying, "Mommy, why did you end my life? Why didn't you let me live? O Lord, bring justice." I saw that there was no fire in this place. I was shocked to see so many babies in hell. It was truly horrible. The Lord explained, "These are aborted children. When their parents die, they will receive justice." I said, "But there are countries that allow abortion." He replied, "The devil knows it wouldn't be easy to convince the majority to accept abortion. So, he influenced the political system to make it legal, and they legalized the sin that leads people to hell." Then I saw a woman burning in the flames. She cried out, "My husband had a good job. When he lost his job, we began to suffer from poverty. One day he told me, 'Dear, since we are facing financial difficulties, we shouldn't have more children. We need to avoid an unwanted pregnancy because we won't be able to support their education.' Shortly after that decision, I became pregnant accidentally, and he was furious. He forced me to have an abortion. I continued to have abortions, and initially, everything went well. However, months later, I became pregnant again and had an abortion for the fourth time. I had complications and died during the procedure. I died because of his decision. He forced me, he stayed in the world with the children, but I am dead and suffering because of his decision." The Lord said, "No one is responsible for another person's actions." He said, "Who are these babies tormenting you?" She replied, "These are the 4 babies I aborted in the world. The real aborted babies go to heaven to be with Jesus. The babies I see in hell are just projections of the condemned consciousness of the women who aborted them, destined to torment them eternally." I saw that all the women who aborted had their wombs rotting. While watching, I saw above us a huge condom filled with rotten sperm that turned into acid. Inside these condoms, there were men who used condoms to prevent pregnancies. They were killing lives because of the condoms and were being burned by the acid, which cried out for justice. I saw a man inside one of these condoms. He had agreed with his wife to space 2 years between children and use condoms to avoid an unwanted pregnancy. He fell into hell for wasting his sperm since he couldn't properly calculate the menstrual cycle. This chamber of hell was enormous and was filled with people committing various types of sexual sins. Those who made love before marriage, those who made love in their dreams, those who made love in their minds and thoughts, those who made love with their eyes, and those involved in prostitution. I also witnessed those who had terminated pregnancies and those who used condoms to prevent conception. Then the Lord said, "It's almost dawn on earth. We need to leave this chamber as we exit this room of sexual transgressions." I saw a man being dragged into it by demons. He was shouting, "Release me, leave me alone." I noticed that his genitalia were disproportionate, decaying, and infested with worms emerging from them. I asked, "Lord, what is wrong with this man?" The Lord responded, "He has the habit of inserting his finger into young women's genitalia, and this is his punishment." Then we left the chamber of sexual sins, and when I woke up, I saw it was 7 in the morning. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel for new content. Also, share this video with more people. God bless you. Bienvenidos, queridos amigos. Estaba visitando la Cámara de los Pecados Sexuales, donde había muchos departamentos. Nos trasladamos a un lugar que parecía una cama de concreto en llamas, donde demonios atormentaban a las personas. Era como una cama de fuego donde la gente ardía por haberse dedicado a la prostitución en vida. Colocaban a los pecadores sobre esta cama de concreto ardiente como su castigo eterno. Mientras estábamos allí, escuché a una joven decir, "Señor, mis padres eran pastores. Por favor, sácame de aquí." Nos acercamos de inmediato a la dama, y el Señor le preguntó, "Hija mía, ¿este lugar es realmente la porción que elegiste en lugar de mí?" Ella respondió, "Señor, ojalá hubiera escuchado a mis padres cuando me advirtieron sobre el infierno. Siempre escuché sobre ello de ellos. No era ignorante, pero no esperaba que este lugar fuera tan aterrador. No presté atención a sus advertencias y me dejé influenciar por mis amigos en la universidad. Solíamos salir, prostituirnos y tener relaciones con hombres por dinero, incluso con nuestros profesores para aprobar. Deshonré a mis padres, respetados en nuestra ciudad. Fue una vergüenza." Ella continuó, "Mis padres me decían que si continuaba con mi estilo de vida pecaminoso y me negaba a arrepentirme, estaría en gran peligro, en un lugar de tormento. Ignoré sus advertencias y no comprendí la gravedad de este lugar. Así que seguí con mi vida de prostitución. Un día, mientras salía a bares con un hombre, tuvimos un accidente y terminé aquí. Miré a la señora y lloré, diciendo, "Hija mía, tuviste tiempo y oportunidad para arrepentirte en la tierra, pero desperdiciaste tu vida y oportunidad. Ahora mira dónde has caído. Es demasiado tarde." En este lugar, vi a personas de todas las razas y nacionalidades que vivieron de la prostitución. Observé a muchos papas de tiempos antiguos, lanzados a esta cama de fuego y sufriendo tormentos. Pregunté, "Señor, los papas están siendo atormentados aquí." Él respondió, "Muestran piedad pero niegan su poder." En el segundo capítulo, versículo 3, dijiste que estos sacerdotes son un grupo de hipócritas. Muchos pretendieron no tener hijos, pero si los tienen y mantienen relaciones con hermanas de conventos, justificándolo como si no fuera un problema porque ambos son santos. Vi que los papas que observé eran de un siglo atrás, antes de mi nacimiento. Todos habían tenido hijos con hermanas de conventos, pagándoles y manteniendo relaciones, practicando la prostitución en este lugar. También vi pastores siendo severamente torturados. Los demonios les ponían algo parecido a cicatrices en el pecho, hechas de metal caliente que presionaban contra ellos. Estos líderes condenados por su inmoralidad escucharon, "Conoces bien a la princesa. Demuestra tu conocimiento." La cama de concreto ardiente era interminable, con innumerables almas atrapadas. Finalmente, sobrevolamos la cama y vi un río de lava con almas encadenadas debajo. Sobre el río, dispositivos electrónicos como televisores, teléfonos y tabletas condenaban a las almas, ya que estaban atadas a películas pornográficas. Aunque algunos dispositivos estaban rotos, seguían clamando por justicia debido a los pecados cometidos a través de ellos. Los dispositivos flotaban y pedían justicia. pero las corrientes enormes mantenían a las almas condenadas sumidas. Observé cómo estas corrientes ascendían hacia la superficie. El Señor dijo: estas corrientes suben a la tierra cuando aquellos que consumen pornografía mueren en sus pecados. Las cadenas los atan por el cuello, llevándolos al mar de lava. Hermanos, siento un profundo dolor al escuchar a las personas en los funerales decir: descansen en paz, sabiendo que muchos no irán a un lugar de paz y descanso. La Biblia nos dice que cuando el hombre rico murió, su alma fue al lugar de tormento, y creo que la mayoría de las almas de los muertos van a este lugar de sufrimiento. Aún así, la gente sigue diciendo: que tu alma descanse en paz. Vi personas en el lugar de tormento, confesando y rogando misericordia. Pero ya era demasiado tarde para ellos. Había millones de almas atrapadas en la lava, encadenadas por la pornografía. Estaban presas en lo profundo, con cadenas más grandes que los propios humanos, que los sofocaban intensamente. Vi un pozo enorme lleno de personas en llamas, corriendo desorientadas, tratando de escapar del fuego y llorando. Estas personas sujetaban sus partes íntimas, y serpientes salían de allí, moviéndose por todo su cuerpo. Entraban por los ojos y salían por sus órganos sexuales. Sobre el pozo, había demonios que se burlaban y reían de las almas perdidas. Jesús dijo: estas son mujeres que se involucraron en relaciones con otras mujeres, son lesbianas. Y estos hombres practicaron sodomía y homosexualidad. Sus órganos sexuales y dedos se convirtieron en serpientes. Entre estas personas, vi a un hombre influyente que había estado involucrado en relaciones homosexuales con empleados de su oficina. Para trabajar en su departamento, estos hombres tenían que aceptar dormir con él. Vi que su órgano genital se había convertido en una serpiente que lo mordía constantemente. Vi a otro hombre ejecutado por oponerse a un régimen político. Este opositor también era homosexual. Para mi sorpresa, vi al mismo expresidente en ese lugar reservado para lesbianas y homosexuales. Este hombre, que alguna vez se comportó como un rey en su país y causó caos, ahora era torturado por los mismos hombres que lo seguían en la tierra. Los hombres le decían: nos trajiste aquí, y estamos perdidos por tu culpa. Lo mordían en sus partes íntimas, acusándolo de ser la causa de su tormento. Entonces pregunté: Señor, incluso nuestro presidente está en este lugar para homosexuales y lesbianas. Jesús respondió: este fue el estilo de vida que eligió en la tierra. Continuamos caminando y vi un enorme foso lleno de bebés. Lloraban y decían: mamá, ¿por qué interrumpiste mi vida? ¿Por qué no me dejaste vivir? Señor, haz justicia. Me impactó ver tantos bebés en ese lugar. No había fuego, pero su sufrimiento era evidente. Jesús explicó: estos son los niños que fueron heridos por el aborto. Cuando sus padres mueran, recibirán justicia. Entonces dije: Señor, pero hay países donde el aborto es legal. Jesús respondió: el diablo sabía que no sería fácil convencer a la mayoría de aceptar el aborto, así que influenció al sistema político para legalizarlo. Después, vi a una mujer ardiendo en el fuego. Lloraba y decía: mi esposo tenía un buen trabajo, pero lo perdió. Cuando comenzamos a sufrir por la pobreza, me dijo que no debíamos tener más hijos. Poco después, quedé embarazada, y él se enfureció. Me obligó a abortar. Ella continuó: meses después, quedé embarazada nuevamente, pero en el cuarto aborto tuve complicaciones y morí durante el procedimiento. Ahora estoy sufriendo aquí por su decisión. Él se quedó en el mundo con los niños, pero yo estoy en este lugar. Jesús le respondió: nadie es responsable de las acciones de otra persona. Entonces le pregunté: ¿quiénes son esos bebés que te están atormentando? Ella respondió: son los 4 bebés que aborté en el mundo. Los bebés revelados van al cielo para estar con Jesús. Los bebés que veo en el infierno no son reales. Son solo proyecciones de conciencias condenadas de mujeres que los lastimaron. Estas proyecciones están destinadas a atormentar eternamente a quienes las originaron. Vi que todas las mujeres que habían cometido estas acciones tenían sus úteros pudriéndose mientras eran testigos de su propio castigo. Encima de nosotros, vi un enorme preservativo lleno de esperma podrido, que se convertía en ácido. Dentro de estos preservativos estaban los hombres que los usaron para evitar embarazos. Estas almas eran castigadas porque el uso del preservativo representaba, en este lugar, la pérdida de vidas potenciales. Vi cómo el ácido quemaba a aquellos hombres que pedían justicia. Vi a un hombre dentro de uno de estos preservativos. Él había decidido con su esposa esperar 2 años entre tener hijos y había usado preservativos para evitar un embarazo no deseado. Fue condenado porque desperdició su semen y no pudo calcular correctamente el periodo menstrual. Esta cámara del infierno era inmensa. Estaba llena de personas que practicaron diversos tipos de pecado sexual. Vi a quienes tuvieron relaciones antes del matrimonio, a quienes soñaban con actos sexuales, a quienes pecaban con sus pensamientos y miradas, y a quienes se dedicaban a la prostitución. También estaban aquellos que causaron daño a otros y quienes usaron métodos para evitar embarazos. Entonces escuché una voz que decía: ya casi amanece en la tierra. Debemos salir de esta cámara. Mientras salíamos, vi a un hombre siendo torturado por demonios. Gritaba: Dejeme, libren. Observé que su órgano genital estaba desproporcionado, podrido y lleno de gusanos. Pregunté: Señor, ¿qué hizo este hombre? Y la respuesta fue: él tenía el hábito de introducir sus dedos en las partes íntimas de niñas pequeñas, y este es su castigo. Salimos de la cámara de los pecados sexuales, y cuando desperté, vi que eran las 7 de la mañana.